Hello everyone, and welcome to our Salesforce Marketing Cloud for Beginners session. So maybe you are in the beginning of your Marketing Cloud journey, or you are interested in starting to work with Marketing Cloud, or you are even just curious about what Marketing Cloud is and what is possible to do with this tool. So you are in the right place, and in the next 40 minutes we'll talk a lot about Marketing Cloud. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Tahuana Cirati, and I am Salesforce Marketing Cloud Principal Architect at Customer Times. I have bachelor's degree in computer science and post-graduation in project management. During my career in Brazil, which is my original country, I worked a little bit with web development, but mainly with quality assurance and project management. When I moved to Canada in 2016, I started to work with marketing automation tools. I worked a bit with Eloqua, Marketo, Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, and mostly with Marketing Cloud. In terms of certification, I have Salesforce Marketing Cloud Email Specialist, Datorama Project Management Accreditation from Salesforce, Professional Project Management from PMI, Professional Scrum Master 1 from Scrum.org, Safe Agilist from Scaled Agile, Certified Tester Foundation Level from ISTQB. So overall, I have about 20 years of work experience, and most of them in consultant companies. And in the last 4 years, I've been focused on Marketing Cloud. Currently, as I mentioned, I am the Salesforce Marketing Cloud Principal Architect at Customer Times, and I'm very happy with this opportunity to talk about Marketing Cloud during our session today. So thank you so much, Customer Times, for this opportunity. Thank you all at the CRM stage organizers, and mainly thank you who decided to join me in this session. And I'm hoping I can clarify your questions about this tool and help you begin your Marketing Cloud journey. So it's enough of chatting, and let's talk about Marketing Cloud. Here is what we'll cover during our session today. I will start talking about what Marketing Cloud is, how this tool was built through acquisition, and how it is structured. Then the main part of this session, I want to show you how to implement a simple use case using standard features in Marketing Cloud. So my plan here is to build a cloud page using a form to collect the webinar subscriptions and send an email confirmation using a journey. And to close things off, I will provide a list of some resources available for those who want to get deeper into the tool. So first things first, what is Marketing Cloud and how Marketing Cloud is structured? Well, the definition from Trailhead is Marketing Cloud is a single platform made up several products that fall under 4 primary buckets: messaging and automation, data and advertising, social media, and measurement and analytics. And what I used to say about Marketing Cloud. It is a Salesforce tool that supports marketing teams. It is composed by several different studios and builders. Many of them were different products acquired by Salesforce or already Salesforce products that were incorporated to Marketing Cloud, and we'll talk more about this soon. It provides a multi-channel tool for marketing automation, so it's possible to send emails, SMS, push notification, track website interactions using Interaction Studio, for example, send instant messages like Line, follow social medias, etc. And it can provide insights, dynamic content, and next best action based on customer previous interactions using, for example, Einstein or Interaction Studio. We have a lot of artificial intelligence that are being incorporated to Marketing Cloud recently. So, and for me, what is the greatest differential in Marketing Cloud? What I see as some of the greatest points in Marketing Cloud, and they make Salesforce a very, very powerful tool in my opinion, is Marketing Cloud is growing and expanding the communication channels. Salesforce are constantly acquiring different products and adding them to Marketing Cloud, as we will see in the next slide. Salesforce is investing in artificial intelligence to add value and help Marketing Cloud decisions. For example, using Einstein algorithms, Marketing Cloud identifies the better day and time to send emails to a contact, when this contact will likely open the email and consequently make campaign more effective. Or using Interaction Studio, it's possible to track the behavior of the customer and customize the web experience, adding some specific banner or suggesting products that are more aligned to their profile. But the most important aspect in Marketing Cloud, at least for me, is the data model flexibility. Marketing Cloud has what is called data extension, which are basically tables in a database. It works like any relational database where you can create different tables, define primary keys, define relationship between tables, and this gives us flexibility to cover basically any type of use case. And it's very easy to work with data extensions, honestly. So in my opinion, this is one huge positive point in Marketing Cloud, and this is extremely powerful. But as I said here, Marketing Cloud is growing through acquisitions, and I will show you a timeline that representing it. This is a timeline that I put together, and we can see here that Marketing Cloud was unveiled by Salesforce in 2012, but actually the acquisitions have started the year before. 2011 was the first acquisition from Radiant 6, first Salesforce acquisition that originates Marketing Cloud. And here I highlighted 6 acquisitions in the last basically 10 years. So, but how all of these acquisitions translate into the Marketing Cloud studios that we know today? So, Radiant 6 and Buddy Media were merged into the Social Studio in 2014. Exact Target become Email Studio and some of the Marketing Cloud core functionalities. Crooks had become Salesforce DMP in 2017 and then Audience Studio in 2019. Some of the Datorama functionalities were incorporated to Marketing Cloud as a Datorama reports. And lastly, we have the Evergage acquisition that had become the current Interaction Studio. So I think the main message here is Marketing Cloud is growing and growing fast. It's growing through basically mostly based on acquisitions. And because sometimes, and this is a very important point, because sometimes different studios are actually different products that were incorporated to Marketing Cloud, they may require a separate license that needs to be purchased. So all of these that we are talking here and all of the studios that I will mention, not all of them are available in every single account. So of course, depending on the on what the client has purchased from Marketing Cloud, they will be enabled or not. So some studios and some products require additional purchase. So I mentioned about the studios here. So how Marketing Cloud is structured. Marketing Cloud is structured in 2 main components, which are the studios and the builders. And we have some additional products that were incorporated to Marketing Cloud. So as studios, we can see, for example, email, mobile, web, automation, social, and advertising. Each studio is like a model in Marketing Cloud, where we have the functionalities related to that specific topic. And for most of these studios, we can kind of relate them with channels. So Email Studio, for example, is used to send email. So it's basically the email channel in Marketing Cloud. The Mobile Studio is used to send SMS, push notifications, instant messages like Line. Web Studio, we can build landing pages, which in Marketing Cloud are called Cloud Pages. We can build custom preference centers, for example. Social Studio, we can integrate to some social medias, monitoring some social channels. Advertising Studio is mainly used for some digital advertising. However, we can see examples here that do not follow this exactly channel rule. For example, the Automation Studio, which is the model where we can build automations and process like using SQL scripts, import, export files. They it is a studio, but it's not exactly related to a specific channel. Another type of component in Marketing Cloud is what we call the builders. These builders will basically touch, if not all, studios and products, most of them. And there are more builders, not only these three, but I highlighted here these three because they are the most important ones, and the ones that we use the most in projects. So we have here the content builder, where we can create the email messages, we can upload files, we can create line messages or SMS messages. It's basically where we create the content to be used in our campaigns. We have the contact builder. The name is similar, but they are different builders. And in the contact builder, we can build basically our data model. So we can define the relationship between the data extension and the contact, which is the main entity in Marketing Cloud. We can create data extensions. We can define when we have integration between Marketing Cloud and Salesforce, the CRM, for example. We can define which objects from Salesforce we will bring to Marketing Cloud and some rules that are available in this configuration. And in the Journey Builder is where we can build journeys, which are our campaigns in Marketing Cloud. We can also see here some products that were incorporated to Marketing Cloud. So they can be used as kind of standalone systems. That means they do not depend on the rest of Marketing Cloud functionalities like the other studios, but they are connected to this entire Marketing Cloud ecosystem, and they can work together with the other studios. And I highlighted 4 of them here. Here we have the Interaction Studio, which can track the customer interactions across different channels and provides the whole view of the customer, their preferences, suggest next best actions for campaigns, for example, or in websites, the banner, suggest content. There's a lot of things that we can do with Interaction Studio actually. I also put here the Salesforce CDP, which is the Customer Data Platform. It's kind of replacing the Audience Studio, the DMP that became Audience Studio, and now they are leaning more towards the CDP. And I also add here the Datorama, which is the data analytics tool of the Salesforce family, and some of these capabilities were incorporated to Marketing Cloud and can be used as some of the reports. And Einstein. Einstein is the artificial intelligence tool. And also some of these capabilities, these functionalities were incorporated to Marketing Cloud and can be used within this Marketing Cloud ecosystem. So this was a very quick overview about what Marketing Cloud is, how it's growing, and how it is structured. So now let's go to the fun part and implement a use case. Unfortunately, because our time here is limited, I will not be able to explain how every studio works and give you all the details I'd like. And also to save us some time, I have some of the assets already created in the system, but we'll build a campaign using these assets together. And let's go to our use case. So this is our use case. Only Good Vibes is a pharma company that produces several drugs focused on well-being, healthiness, and quality of life. So stress-free, feel good, achieve your goals are some of the already successful drugs available in the market. All of them are 100% natural and has no side effects. The company is planning to launch a new product called Be Happy, and they want to run a webinar explaining to the customers about the benefits of this new drug, when this will be available, and all the details about it. They want to create a landing page for the web registration, and they will make this page available, for example, on their official Facebook profile. They also want to send a confirmation email to everyone who submitted a form. So this is, of course, this is a fiction use case, but it's inspired in some of my previous projects and some real use cases that I've seen in Marketing Cloud. So the overall scope here in this use case, in this small project that we work together today, is we need to create a cloud page with a form to capture the webinar registration. We need to create a data extension to store all this data that the form will capture. We need to create the email confirmation, and we need to create a journey to send this email. So these are the 4 main points that we need to build today. As an assumption for this, let's assume that email address will be used as primary key. That means if the same person submits the form more than once, this record will be updated in a data extension and not create a new record. And the way how I will structure the journey, the email will be sent in the first submission, not every time. So the person will receive only one email. We also assume that email address will be used as a subscriber key. This definition, it's a very important definition when we are working on a marketing cloud project, especially when we are setting up a new business unit. So one of the most important points, in my opinion, is to define what will be the value that we'll use for subscriber key and contact key, because this can impact the whole architecture, this can impact the whole data model, and this can impact the number of contacts that will be available in the account, and consequently the impacts on the limit of the contact, because each edition in Marketing Cloud there is a limit of contacts possible. If we go over this, Salesforce will charge for that. So it's very, very important to define what should be the subscriber key and the contact key. I used to avoid email address as a subscriber key because this should represent a person, and sometimes we have some situations that the email address is shared across a family or maybe some small offices. So if possible, I avoid to use the email address. But here, just to simplify things, let's consider the email address as our subscriber key. And we are also assuming that the layouts were provided by Only Good Vibes. So we already have all the information that we need, all the pictures, all the text, all the creative, everything is already provided. So what are the steps here? What we need for this implementation? First, we need to define the fields which will have in the form, both visible and hidden fields, because when we are building the form, and I will show this to you, it's possible to define some visible fields and also some hidden fields in case if you want to pass some information hidden that will be useful for some other analysis in the future. We need to create the data extension with all these fields needed. We need to define the layout for the cloud page, which we already received from the company. We need to create the cloud page and configure this form to save the data in the data extension that we have created. Define the email layout, which we are assuming that we already received. Create the email, create the journey, and then test to see if everything is working fine. So let's go to our Marketing Cloud, and let me bring here. Okay. Let me just refresh the page. And this is my initial page, in Marketing Cloud. So we can see that here on the top we'll have this menu. On the top menu we'll have all the studios and modules that I mentioned. So we have the email, mobile, social, the cloud pages, we have interaction studio, we have journey builder, content builder, contact builder. So we have all of them here. And let's go through our implementation. Unfortunately, because of the time, I'll not be able to go through all of these models and explain this. So let's just jump directly into our implementation here. So first thing, we need to create our data extension. So we go to the audience builder and contact builder, where we can create our data extensions. So here is the data extension and the folders that I mentioned. And here we can create subfolders. So I have a folder here with my name and the CRM stage demo. So this is, I actually have already created the data extension for this demo. So here we have the data extension. And this is a standard data extension that I have created. Here are the fields that I have defined. So we have email, we have first name, last name, and the registration date. For the registration date, I set the current date as default value. So I will actually not send this value here in the form, but this will be when the record is created in the date extension, this will capture automatically the current date and save into the date extension. Another thing that I would like to highlight here is this part here. To be able to use the data extension in campaigns or to send emails, we need to indicate that this data extension can be used for sending. So this needs to be yes. And also, this is very important, is define the subscriber relationship. In this case here, because we have the assumption that the email address is our subscriber key, is our primary key, I am relating the email to the subscriber on subscriber key. What that means, every time that Marketing Cloud sends an email, Marketing Cloud, if this subscriber is not created yet, Marketing Cloud will create this subscriber using the email address as the subscriber key. If the subscriber is already existed, that's okay, then Marketing Cloud will use the same subscriber for that. So this is a very important point that we need to consider when defining all the data model and creating data extensions. So the next step here in our implementation is, we already have this data extension, is define and create the cloud page. So to create the cloud page, we can go to our Web Studio and Cloud Pages. And Cloud Pages is structured as a collection. So instead of folder, we have here collection. So let's create another collection, and I will call this CRM stage. And within this collection, we can create actually our landing pages. So I will add a content and I will create a landing page here. And I will give the name CRM stage demo. And then we can choose which layout we want to have for this landing page. There are some predefined layouts, so I like to go with the blank, so it's kind of a blank canvas and we can configure the way that we want, and I will save it. Well, this is where we can configure our cloud pages. Based on the layout that the company had provided me, I want to first have a banner. So to have a banner, I will grab the image block, and these are the basic content that we have. So we can use these blocks to build our cloud page. So we'll drag and drop the image block here, and then we can choose the image. So I can just click here on this image block and they will change here for the content. I can browse this. And for example, I have already uploaded this image, but to upload this is very simple. We can just click on create and click on upload, and then we can upload files from our local machine to Marketing Cloud. So I will use this one that is already loaded here, and I will select. So this is the banner for our our cloud page. And here we have some definitions or some configurations that we can make around this. We can make around this image. So we can, for example, define some the size, the width and height. We can define some alt text if it's needed. We can add some border. We can define paddings. We can define the alignment. We can add a link, for example. So I could add here a link to the company website. We also have some blocking settings here if you want to add a background to this specific block or a border, or even setting some margins and padding. So there are some configuration here that we don't need to touch the HTML. If you want, the HTML is also available here and we can edit it, but there are some configurations that we can do without touching the HTML. So this for me, it's okay. I want a basic one. And then let me check here the layout that I have received. The next one, I want a text here. So I just drag and drop and add the text here. And this will be like a text editor where we can type whatever we want here and just save it. So let me copy the text that I have. I'm just opening my file here. And let me just copy and paste. This is basically the text that I have received, and we can format this text as I mentioned. So first I will define the font. So I will use Calibri for this font. I will define the size. So maybe let's put size 20. This is already on bold. I want to centralize this. I want to give more space here. I want to have more space here. So here is, as I mentioned, we can put italic, we can underline this, centralize. It's basically the configurations that we have for in any Word or text editor that we have. And again, here we also have the same block settings, so we can define the background, border, or also edit directly the HTML. So okay, we are happy with that. And now the most important part, which is the form itself. For the form to capture this information, we will use this smart capture here. So we just drag and drop here. And I want to use this form in a journey because I want to send an email with this, I want to send a confirmation email for the person. So I will put here CRM stage demo. I need to give a name for this form. And here is where the data will be stored. So I want to store this data in a data extension that I had already created. So here we can basically select the data extension. And I will go to my folder and I will choose our demo data extension. And here Marketing Cloud will list all the fields that exist in that data extension. And I can select the fields that will be visible. So when I select a field, and here are the hidden fields. So let's say that I selected only the email address. So the email address is here. And then the hidden fields, we have all the remaining fields. So we can see here first name, last name, and registration date. As soon as I check the first name as a visible field, this field cannot be hidden anymore. So it disappears from this list. So basically, I want these three fields available in the form. And I don't need hidden fields here. And also we have some options regarding this form. So we have the submission form, the submission option, sorry. And for the submission, This is basically when someone submits what exactly it will be displayed. Is kind of the message that will be displayed after submission. I will change this a little bit. I will add the same font and size that I had in the rest of my page. Oops. I will centralize this and I want some space here. It's also possible to redirect to another URL after the submission. Instead of just displaying the message, it's possible if you have kind of a thank you page or something like that, it's possible to configure this here. And for the button, I want to change the text. And we can change the background color. We can do some configurations here as well. Change the font. I will put the same font for the other ones. And let's increase the size and align this. And we also have here some styling for the form. So for example, we can play around a little bit here. I will not add any background, but for the border, I will add, we can type the color directly here, for example, but we can also select from this option here. We can select as well how we want to have this border, and we can change the size of the border. So I will change this to 3. I will add some margin. So for margin, I will put 50. And also I want some padding. For padding, I want 25, for example. I want the form within, instead of having a fixed size, I want to put as 75% of the screen. So we can see that these options here had increased the size. We also can edit the field itself. So for example, just to be more beautiful, I will put this character here, and here we can define, actually this is already a text, because the data extension has this as a required field, this will have this validation, so we cannot change this. And let's do the same with the other one. So I will just add this, but we can make the name different, add a different label from the data extension field name. Okay, so I am happy with that. This is just a demo, so let's keep things simple. Once we configured everything, what we can do is save it. And published. So we have kind of a view here, and we publish this, and now this will be available. So this is the link that Marketing Cloud has created, and then we can just check this form on internet. And here is our landing page. So our landing page is ready. Of course, this instance is just a test instance, is our internal instance, so we don't have the SAP configured and anything. So all the links and the images, everything will have the Marketing Cloud, the exact target link. But in a real implementation, it's possible to do some branding with these links and images and everything. So now when we submit this form, this will be saved in a data extension. Usually I test it just after to make sure that everything is okay, but because of the time, let's go directly to the email. So I have already actually this email created. I will just show this to you. Here we also have a folder structure. So I have a folder with my name, and I have this folder for the demo, and this is the email that I have created before. So basically what I would like to highlight, when we create an email, we have a very similar situation of the form. We have some content blocks that we can use here, which are the same image, text, everything very similar to what we did for the cloud page. So I added this image block. I added a text block here. One thing that I would like to highlight is this first name with this percentage. This is actually an AMP script and is a personalization. So we can use, in this case, I have configured the date extension to use. Actually, I need to choose the data source just to show you this. And I will select the data extension that I have. And then we will have this data extension here, and we can use this, just select the first name and they will replace this here. So this is how we use personalization based on the data extension. So we have this here. And another important thing is that we need to add this code snippet. This is a required information with the physical mailing and the link for the preference center. I will not touch about this in this presentation, but this is a required item in every email that Marketing Cloud sends. So I saved this here. So now let's go to our journey, which is our last step of this implementation. So here we can create a new journey. We also can define the folder structure and everything here. So, but I will create a new journey. I will call this journey CRM stage demo. And for this demo, I will select the multi-step journey. So in the journey, we have all the options here, basically the entry source that we can use. In our case, we get a cloud page for that. So when we select a cloud page here, we will have our form available. So we have this CRM stage demo, which was the form that we created in the cloud page. So I will select it. Then we need to define our flow for this journey, which in our case is just to send a basic email. And I will select the email that I have already created. So we can select the folder and select the email. Here in the message configuration, we can define the classification. If it's commercial, transactional, define this in the profile. So I will keep everything as is. We have some advanced options as well, like deliveries and advanced options, but for us, this is the basic one is enough. Here, instead of 1 day, because I don't like my contacts just sitting here waiting 1 day to visit the journey, so I will change this to 1 minute. So this is also configurable. This is also the flow control activities that are possible. And we have here when more actions or more activities, steps in the journey when we have journey connected with the CRM. Another thing that we need to do here is do some journey settings. For that case, I will choose re-entry at any time. That means if I delete and create a new record with the same contact key, they will receive this message. But in our case, because this is our primary key, a new record will not be created, so this will not send this twice. And that's it. We can save and we can activate our journey. So we activate. If there is something wrong, they will display a message with what with wrong, then we can fix it. And that's it. Our journey is live. So once we have this live, and we can just submit the form and check this. So here we will see the message that we configured. We can see here in the data extension that this was actually created, this new record. And then this is near real time, so it can take maybe 2-3 minutes to send the message. But because of our time, I will not, I have already one email that I tested before, and I will show exactly how this email will be sent. But just to show you that this record was captured, so we have here the count record 1, and here in the record we can see my submission here with the today's date. And let me show you an example of the email that will be sent as soon as this process and the journey capture this and Marketing Cloud process this email. So this is an example of the email. So this is a test that I did yesterday. It will be basically the banner and the message, and here is my name because we are using the personalization and we are replacing this by the name that I added on the form. And we have here that footer that I mentioned and the text that we have configured. So this is our demo for Marketing Cloud. This is how we build this option, this use case. We have 2 minutes left, so I will go very quickly about the resources available. So here are some of recommendations. So we have the Trailhead, is the official channel where you can find trainings and everything. We have also the Marketing Cloud documentation, and here is the URL for this documentation where we can find links for every webinars and documentation and for every studio. So everything is here. In this YouTube channel, Salesforce Marketing Cloud, we have a lot of videos and playlists. So every time that a new release is launched, for example, we have some highlights here. We have some useful information. We have this Trailblazing Together. This is a group, I believe a Marketing Cloud group, and it's very, very interesting. I highly recommend to access both the page and the YouTube channel. They have webinars and boot camps for certification. So this is a very, very useful material. And for those who are partners, so companies that are partner, we have access to Partner Learning Camp, which is also another platform with additional trainings that we can access and enablements for Interaction Studio, CDP, Datorama. So we have a lot of trainings available, a lot of materials available here. So this is what I have today. Thank you so much for joining me in this session. If you have any question or if you want more details about anything, send me a message, then I will answer. And see you in our questions and answer session in the Slack channel. So thank you.